that may be held in closed session pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public.
Could everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Ellis?
Here.
Paul Hoffman?
Yes.
Pauls?
Here.
Paul Rosenberg?
Here.
I am here. We're going to start our meeting tonight with a wonderful presentation by Miss Kim Burns and some wonderful guests that she's going to bring up and introduce, and they're going to do a presentation for us.
Hello, my name is Kim Burns. I'm actually a resident of Egg Harbor Township. I've lived here for 27 years, I believe. So today, I come representing Atlantic Prevention Resources. We're a prevention agency here in Atlantic County. I also work on grant funding out of the Department of Health on Tobacco Free for Healthy New Jersey. So we've worked across the state on tobacco issues. The biggest one right now is the vaping. So I want to bring up Michelle Costello. She works with our group Stand Up and Rebel. She's going to tell you a little bit about the group at the high school, and then you're going to hear from your wonderful students. So.
Okay, hello, good evening, everybody. I also am a resident of EHT. I have children at Bargaintown Preschool. I love this community and I love what we do. We have young leaders here who comprise our group, our youth coalition of Stand Up and Rebel. So Stand Up and Rebel is about creating young leaders in our community who also prevent underage drinking and tobacco use. I'll keep it short because I want the attention to be on these individuals here, but they are here to tell you guys about how vaping in particular has infiltrated our communities and young people. So, Mina, we will start with you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Meena Chaudhary, and I'm a junior from Egg Harbor Township High School. Public health campaigns had been very effective in reducing cigarette use among teens for decades, and our generation was on track to be the first generation to stop tobacco use entirely. That progress was derailed in the 2010s with the arrival of vapes. Products like Juul were marketed as safe and trendy, and candy and fruit flavors with discreet packaging that very clearly appealed to younger people. According to the 2021 New Jersey Student Health Survey, nearly 22% of high school students reported to using electronic vapor products within the previous 30 days. That may seem like a small percentage, but that means in a class of 25 students, 6 of them were currently vaping. And many of them are likely already addicted to nicotine before even graduating high school. We know smoking and vaping are terrible for your health, but that isn't the only issue. It affects our daily life at school. Because bathrooms have become such common vaping spots, schools have had to restrict access. Students avoid known vape spots like bathrooms altogether for their own health. Teachers waste instructional time dealing with vaping incidents, and students who do get caught are more likely to be punished than treated, which does not at all address the real root of addiction. The vape epidemic thrives in misinformation and social normalization. Common anti-vape messages have become hackneyed and ineffective. A lot of students genuinely believe that vaping is safe, and when they notice that their peers are also discreetly vaping, it reinforces that perception. Vapes are so easy to pull out because of how discreet they are. You can take a hit in the D-wing bathroom or hallway without anyone noticing. Coupled with the general increase in use of stimulants like caffeine and nicotine, they become a part of students' identity within certain groups that they bond over, which makes prevention even more difficult. We need community-level action that prioritizes solving the underlying causes instead of punishing students who vape. Township support for prevention campaigns, school partnerships, and youth-driven awareness initiatives can make a difference. We need to allocate funds to both effective and youth-led campaigns that warn about the effects of vaping, as well as other growing issues like nicotine pouches. Therapy and support centers need to be free and accessible. Anonymous online options could also be a possibility. We should have more incentives for people to become substance abuse counselors to help these people. In Australia, vapes have even become prescription-only products like Vicodin or Xanax. It's also important that we enforce the existing bans on vape shops that are targeting young adults to make sure our current policies are also effective. This is a complex problem and we can't solve it overnight, but we can take steps to restrict access to vapes and increase access to help. We don't want our generation to be defined by this addiction. We want to be the generation that ends it. So thank you for listening and being a part of the solution to vaping in our town.
Well done.
Excuse me, when I have to write a speech, can I come get you? Great.
Who's next?
Good evening to both the mayor and the members of the Township Committee. My name is Trinity Anderson, and I'm here to speak about something that has impacted my generation greatly, youth vaping. I've seen firsthand the grip it has on people who don't even realize how much it controls them. As both a student and an athlete, it's hard to watch teammates who used to be strong and full of energy now struggle to keep up due to their newly adopted habits. What's even harder is seeing friends who want to quit but feel like they can't. Vaping has become so common that it almost feels normal now. You see it in bathrooms, in hallways, even at games. It's everywhere. Even if you don't partake in it, you come across it one way or another. These products are designed to look harmless, with bright colors, candy flavors, sleek packaging, even built-in games, all made to attract younger users. A lot of students have been told vaping is safer than smoking, but that's just another lie being sold to us. If we really want to fix this problem, we can't rely on punishment alone. Suspending or disciplining students doesn't solve what's actually going on. What helps the most is education and real support. Students need to be taught the truth about these products, and when they get caught, they should have access to resources that help them quit, not just face the consequences. Punishment doesn't ultimately solve the problem and stop the person from vaping. Overcoming addiction takes understanding and compassion, not fear. But education isn't enough on its own. We also need stronger enforcement of the laws that already exist. For example, New Jersey already has a flavor ban, yet flavored vapes are still being sold everywhere in local stores. That ban needs to be enforced. Teens wouldn't be drawn to vaping if it didn't taste and smell like candy, which was the core reason flavors were created in the first place, to target youth so that these companies could get more money. That's all it was ever about. These companies don't care about the consumers and what harmful products they are giving out, along with who they're giving it out to. As long as they're making money, they won't stop. This is why we need stricter rules on youth-targeted flavors and marketing, and tougher penalties for the stores and companies that keep selling to minors or ignoring these bans. I think it would be useful if there were inspectors to regularly check these vape shops and convenience stores to make sure they're following these regulations. Right now, too many stores are selling banned products without consequences, and even if they do pay fines, as of now, it's like pocket change compared to the amount of money they're making from the people buying their products. Having local inspectors or compliance checks would hold these businesses accountable and make it harder for them to get away with breaking the law. If stores knew someone was watching, they'd be less likely to take those risks. I've also seen a rise in ads for nicotine products like Zyn pouches promoted as healthier and easier to use, as well as the rise of vape alternatives all over social media, such as melatonin pens, lung cleansers, and relaxers. They're marketed as safe and nicotine-free that can be used by all ages when they're just as harmful. These are the messages kids are seeing every day, and there should be stronger regulations to stop them. Lastly, schools need to have real quit resources for students, whether it's a program within the school or a connection to help outside of school. Students should be able to reach out without fear or embarrassment. At the end of the day, my generation just wants the chance to grow up healthy and free, not addicted to something we were tricked into thinking was harmless. The flavors that are supposed to be banned are still on the shelves, the ads are still everywhere, but the truth is we can stop this. We just have to act now. Thank you.
Thank you. You can push the mic down.
Yeah. Good evening, Mayor Fromer and esteemed council members. My name is Serenity, and I'm now a junior at Egg Harbor Township High School. As I've grown up and gone to the schools in EHT, I've seen more and more of my peers smoking and vaping. There's people in the bathrooms, on the buses, even in the locker rooms, despite careful watch by teachers and administrators. And I don't just see it in the high school. I see it in the middle schools where my brother goes to school. And shockingly, I see it even in elementary kids who are vaping because these tobacco and vape companies are targeting younger demographics. I've watched this. My peers growing up around me getting addicted to nicotine. My brother talking about how he's seeing his peers growing up and getting addicted to nicotine. Vape companies making vapes more appealing to younger kids. I watch all of this and I'm afraid. I'm afraid of what will happen when younger generations grow up addicted to nicotine, like the older generations were addicted to smoking and tobacco. I'm afraid that I will become normalized to vaping, that my younger brother will think that vaping is okay, that future generations will grow up having a culture around vapes. Unfortunately, I think that my fears are coming true. Though I am aware that you aren't involved with school policies, I do still want to talk about how we discipline those who do vape. Specifically in my school, this handbook says that for the first offense, the person who vapes will have a suspension from school for a minimum of 4 days. And then on their second and third and other offenses, they'll be suspended for a minimum of 10 days. The type of discipline that we're giving out isn't helping or solving the problem. It's just making students resent their teachers and the school. The court recognizes that nonviolent drug offenders or substance abusers are people who need support, people who need help through their addiction, people who need to go to rehabilitation centers instead of serving jail time. If this is how we treat adults, shouldn't we treat our students the same way? I would propose we establish support groups and further promote substance counseling in our schools. Students don't need to be told that it is their fault for falling into this addiction. They deserve to know that it's not their fault, that they aren't horrible people, that they don't deserve this punishment. They need to be told that we care. We care that you're struggling with vaping. We care that you're struggling with this addiction, and we understand that it's hard. They need to be told that even if you don't think it's a problem, this is going to kill you. I think if we work together with those who vape, instead of ostracizing them or shaming them, we will see greater progress. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Good afternoon. My name is Camila Soja, and I have come to you all to talk on behalf of the youth on the growing issue plaguing my generation. Vaping has become a massive problem that can't be overlooked any further. But where did this start, and why is it impacting the youth so much? I would like to introduce you all to ethyl butyrate, amyl acetate, and ethyl malol, or more commonly known as bubble gum. It has been estimated that roughly 80% of young adults nationwide have begun vaping with a flavored product. And these aren't just regular strawberry, blueberry flavors. No, companies have begun producing Sour Patch Kids, Swedish Fish, Skittle flavored vapes. It really makes you stop and think who the primary target is. Companies have turned the experience of buying an addictive, neurologically damaging drug equate to walking into a candy shop. In 2020, the Trump administration had issued a ban on some flavored vapes, but temporary restrictions and partial bans are not enough. The vaping industry has found loopholes time and time again, repackaging, renaming, and rebranding their way around regulations. A full permanent ban on flavored vapes nationwide is the only way to close the door to this pipeline to addiction. But as mentioned before, New Jersey has banned all flavored vapes, and yet I'm still able to taste and smell the blue raspberry when I walk into a bathroom stall. There are countless stores still illegally selling these products that are clearly being marketed for children. What disturbs me so much is the science behind why companies specifically target the young. With their brains not fully developed and their decision-making skills lacking, addiction is more of a guarantee than a possibility, and a lifelong client is just more money in companies' pockets. It's important to note that these flavors are not a marketing strategy, but a blatant cover-up for the thousands of chemicals found inside, most notably nicotine, but also known carcinogens like formaldehyde and benzene, and even heavy metals like lead, copper, nickel. The companies producing and the stores illegally selling these flavored vapes need to be held responsible for the damage caused not only to the victims' lives, but also to their target's childhood. I thank you for your time.
Excuse me. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sean Bishop, a junior at Egg Harbor Township High School, and I stand before you all today not just as a student, but as a concerned and disappointed member of a generation grappling with a crisis that is unfolding right before our eyes, the rise of youth vaping. When e-cigarettes first infiltrated our schools, they were marketed as fun and harmless, and full of exciting new flavors like blue raspberry, strawberry milkshake, and watermelon ice. These products were wrapped in colorful packaging and sold as safe alternatives, harmless distractions. But what I've witnessed has been anything but harmless. I've seen classmates as young as 11 years old drawn in by the illusion that vaping is trendy or safer than smoking. Today, many, if not all, of those same peers are addicted to nicotine before they've even experienced their first school dance, shared a graduation moment with their family, or imagined what they wanted to pursue career-wise. I've seen how it negatively reshapes lives. Friends who once thrived in sports and social activities now grow anxious if separated from their vape. Some struggle to focus in class, others experience respiratory issues, but all of them depend on their vapes for dopamine. Last school year, a good friend of mine confided in me that they felt stuck, desperate to quit, but powerless to do so. That is not freedom. That is undoubtedly addiction and depression. Even more troubling is the reality that many of these young individuals have become numb to the severity of their addiction. What should be a wake-up call has instead become their version of normal. Furthermore, it's not just individual students who are affected. This is a public health emergency that touches every single corner of our community. Youth vaping is normalizing nicotine use again, undoing decades of progress in reducing tobacco addiction. It's putting an unfair burden on those addicted who are now forced to handle this unfortunate circumstance. Also, it's heartbreaking for families who worry about their children's health and future. Mayor Fromer and everyone else who has the ability and capacity to implement change. We need decisive action now. We need stronger safeguards that keep these products out of students' hands. We must hold the companies behind them accountable for deliberately targeting youth with sweet flavors and flashy branding that were clearly never meant for adults. I don't want to see more friends lose themselves to nicotine addiction. I don't want our generation defined by cravings instead of creativity, withdrawal instead of potential. We deserve the right to breathe freely, to learn fully, and to mature without being manipulated into a lifelong struggle with addiction. So today, I respectfully urge all of you, please make this a priority. Work in partnership with schools, families, and with us, the students most directly impacted, to help bring this epidemic to an end. We are ready and willing to be part of the solution. However, we need your leadership to protect us, our peers, and the generations yet to come. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
You all are powerful. These are your students. Amazing. And I just want to say we did not help write a single one of those. Wow. So they did that all on their own. So I just want to really quickly call your attention to this paper that I left up there for you. Earlier this year, we did tobacco assessments in all of the retailers here in our township.
we went and visited 25 retailers. We do merchant education, so we make sure that they're aware of the law. We point out all products that they're selling that are illegal, and we urge them to come into compliance with the law. We're not enforcing this, we're just educating them about that. You'll see out of the 25 stores that 40% of our stores are selling illegal products. So it's a huge concern. You go into some of these stores and they have floor to ceiling flavored products that are all illegal.
So they're not even behind the counter?
No,
they are right in the...
No, and I'm not going to point out the ones, but there are some that are huge offenders. You can also go on the FDA site and see which ones have been, they receive a warning letter, and then the second offense, they receive a small fine. It's about $650. And then the third fine is about $2,000. And this is over the course of about 3 years. So often you see after that warning letter or after that $650 sign, they'll just switch owners, switch the name a little bit, so that they can continue, the practice. So as the students said, we're just concerned about enforcing the laws that are on our books right now. There's additional things that we can do. And again, we're just here to educate you. We can provide more resources as needed. And as the students all said, they're ready and willing to work with you. So we really appreciate your time and letting them speak. And I'm sure you got a lot out of what they said. So.
I went back 40 years in time because when I was this age, it was smoking. I think for a lot of us up here, it was smoking. And my father-in-law died of lung cancer. It's a horrible way to die. And vaping is going to have other issues.
Yeah. As they said, the smoking rates, we saw those really decline. When you're talking high schoolers, we're at less than 1% that are smoking regular cigarettes. So it is the vaping and now the Zyn and the pouches that we're seeing on the rise. So. Yeah.
Okay, explain to me what a Zyn.
Okay, so
sorry, I don't know what that is.
I can send you more information about this, but there's a new product that they just kind of it's not new, but it's the most. It's becoming the highest raising product. Like it's on the agenda for students now. It's a small pouch. It's either made of synthetic nicotine or nicotine salt, and you put here. And it's not chew though. You don't have to spit with it. You keep it in your mouth for about 30 minutes. It can have as many as 20 milligrams of nicotine in one pouch. So they're packing a lot of nicotine into those. So it's something that really needs to be on everybody's radar. So.
I have a question. Have you gotten to our state legislators, the assemblyman and the senator, with this to make the state, pay attention?
So it's definitely on our radar, okay. And we are tobacco-free is statewide. So we do, talk to the legislator about it. There is the flavor law on the books, but it passed in 2019, and we all know what happened in 2019. So it's something that just has not been enforced really well. So we're kind of behind on this.
Because the merchant, if he's told no, he's going to go to Delaware or somewhere else that tolerates it. Mm-hmm. So our state needs to be a little forceful and making these establishments understand that they can't be selling this.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah, we have a small tobacco enforcement program at the state, and then there's one for the federal also. But the state one is they only do a small percentage of the stores. The stores know that, the possibility of getting the inspection is very low. So
I wanted to say the same thing about getting the state involved, different legislature involved. But the most important things were said about the young people. You could take the cigarette out of a person's hand or the vape out of a person's hand, but they still have an issue. They still have an addiction. You could punish them all you want. You go home, you go smoke even more, chew even more, do whatever even more. So coming up with a solution to help instead of hurt, coming up with a solution for alternative methods of getting rid of the vaping. You have a great group. You need to just put them on the road. Y'all beautiful young people. You need to hit the road and go Jersey Mod and however far you can go. You did a great job.
Actually, we can help you with this. We can actually make a connection with the senator and the assembly people.
That'd be wonderful.
Because you all sell it better than any commercial ever could have. Because what you were saying, and you're witnessing it every day, and you're living it every day. And I think there's nobody better to speak about it than the young people behind you. Yourself, you're doing fabulous.
Thank
But, you know, they do an outstanding job.
Yeah, they do. We can provide sample ordinances. There are some towns that have just written an ordinance that mirrors the state law, but then just kind of gives it that local enforcement. There's some that have passed licensing fees so that everyone that's selling these products in their town, passes this licensing fee, and that licensing fee can pay for someone to go in and do the local inspections.
It's not a license to sell it.
No, it's just,
That's because
Right.
someone will. So.
Yeah. So,
And the
whatever-
restrictions on vaping and all the ancillary products, is that only geared to under 18 years of age? Or can they sell any of these products to people over the age of 18 or 21?
So it's 21, and there's a flavor law for everyone. Like no
across the
flavored
board.
products, vape products in New Jersey can be sold.
But they're-
Period.
They're everywhere. They're everywhere in these stores. Not so much your big name.
Yeah, there are some that have great programs. I'm not going to name stores, but there are ones that really are not on our radar for selling the illegal products.
Yeah, so you're exactly right. Like once a student is addicted, we also run quit groups. Once a really difficult thing to help them quit. So where I want to come from is if we remove the accessibility to these products, having, some of these vapes have video games on. Those aren't regulated by the FDA. Those are, legal products to be selling. So if these products weren't on the shelves, our students wouldn't have as much access. Products that are illegal to our students, to anybody, but to our students.
A couple of quick comments, if I might, Mayor. 3 suggestions, actually. I would think the state legislature is a good place to start, but the Food and Drug Administration is really what would regulate this type of substance. So I would suggest making an appointment with Congressman Van Drew. I'm not sure what's in his capacity, but I'm sure he would certainly be able to find out through his extensive network, whether it's authoring legislation or encouraging enforcement, finding funding for that enforcement. That would be something. Second idea that I'm tossing around, has anybody approached the Board of Education with the idea of a vape-free school zone? Something to that effect?
We have not. We were actually just talking that they may be our next visit. So, yeah.
So along the same lines, if there is a regulation such as a zone, in effect, you have enforcement that goes with that. It may not necessarily be the ideal removal of the product, but you can certainly make life difficult, making it accept. Anything at the municipal level, if we're talking about businesses that are playing funny business, with names, because we don't have any type of mercantile license for them, perhaps that's something we need to look at, whether it's a small fee or not. Every time that business comes in for a mercantile application, whether the fee is in effect or not, the address would be registered already. Then you have the opportunity to verify that that business has been there or not, making life more difficult.
Right.
One last thing, Serenity was your name. I don't mean to pick on you. This is absolutely constructive, but bear with me. 5 or 6 times you said you were afraid, and I don't think that's accurate. As a person who was in your position many, many, many years ago, you are a very brave young woman to be here to do what you just did. And I don't think afraid is the right word. If it is fear, that's exactly right. Turn it into courage like you just did. Okay? Whether it's this issue or another one. Keep up the good work. Okay. Thank
you. Thank you all for listening and taking the time.
We'll be in touch, and then you can send me the sample ordinances and what we can do here, and we can talk about things that maybe we can do here in the township. I will absolutely reach out to our legislators and tell them they need to spend some time with you and listen to what you all have to say, because you are the future, and my goodness, if you're the future, we're in good hands.
We are.
So, but no, absolutely. Thank you so much for coming in. Thanks for
the
reaching out
time.
and bringing this to our attention.
And make sure, young folks, make sure you follow up. Say, we told you that 2 weeks ago. Follow up. What y'all think?
Are you guys with the quick picture with them?
Never bother. Never.
You guys want to all like, I guess we're going to have to stand up. Or at least I'm going to have to stand up.
Oh. Come right.
So, come on in.
Come in.
You're right.
Just don't cut me out.
You're not cut out. You're in there.
Robin.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And you all did outstanding.
Outstanding.
Public speaking is not the easiest thing to do. And you all were outstanding.
Very good.
Testament to yourselves, your family, and your school. So yes, you can all go if you want. Thank you so much for coming in. We greatly appreciate it.
Have a good year.
Have a great. Okay, so put him on the way out. Well, that was educational. That was educational. What else do we have here? Okay, so we do not have any ordinances for public hearings this evening or ordinance introductions. We do have a resolution and consent calendar through 481 through and including 499. Do we have any questions? If not, can I have a motion? Sir, it's not public comment time.
Are you going to accept public comment on the resolution to
We are, but
designate
it's
the property as an area in need of redevelopment?
We are, but
Okay.
it's going to be after this.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Have a second?
Second?
Roll call, please.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We have Resolution 500, authorizing payment of all bills. Can I have a motion?
So moved. Sorry. I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We have a supplemental agenda, numbers 502 and 503 that we talked about in the work session. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We have some approvals to go through. We have a motion to approve the October 1st, 2025 Township Committee meeting minutes. Can I have a motion, please? All in favor? Aye. Everybody say aye, please.
Aye.
Thank you. These mics are picking up now. So, you know, Bob,
At the end. Go through everything.
I apologize. I looked down, I just saw you, and that you were supposed to go.
Reports are later. Reports are later. Don't worry.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the Township Committee closed session minutes of October 1st, 2025?
Motion.
All in favor? Aye. Can I have a motion to approve the departmental reports for the month of September 2025?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. General public discussion, sir, come on up. Can we just have your name for the record?
Absolutely. Madam Mayor, members of the committee, for the record, my name is Kevin Moore with the firm of Stevens and Lee, and I represent several of the O'Byrne Drive neighbors to the redevelopment area that you have been working on. And we strongly oppose the designation of that redevelopment area. I urge the Township Committee not to follow the flawed recommendations of the planning board and not designate block 9401 lot 1, block 9402 lot 1, and block 9603 lot 2 on your township tax map as an area in need of redevelopment. None of these three lots, taken together or individually, meet the criteria of the local redevelopment and housing law to be designated as an area in need of redevelopment. First, with respect to block 94 lot 1, it does not meet the criteria. The planning board incorrectly found that the property met the criteria of an area in need of redevelopment under criterion D of the local redevelopment and housing law. However, it doesn't. Criterion D requires that block 94 lot 1 have buildings or improvements which by reason of dilapidation, obsolescence, overcrowding, faulty arrangement, or design lack of ventilation, light and sanitary facilities, excessive land coverage, deleterious land use, or obsolete layout, or any combination of these or other factors are detrimental to the safety, health, morals, or welfare of the community. Well, Block 94, Lot 1 consists of a gravel parking lot and grass. Therefore, it does not have buildings or improvements that are dilapidated, obsolescent, overcrowded, faultily arranged, faultily designed, obscurely laid out, or poorly ventilated. Therefore, Block 94, Lot 1 does not have excessive land coverage or deleterious land use. Further, the New Jersey Supreme Court in Malonga v. Township of West Orange requires that the condition of the property must be detrimental to the welfare of the community. No such detriment exists with respect to Block 94, Lot 1. First, Ms. Jennifer Heller, your planner, testified before the planning board that the township issued notices of violation for the property in the early 2000s. However, on being questioned by me, she conceded that that all of these violations were cured and none of them remain open. Ms. Heller's determination of need report also states that the then owner of Block 9401, Lot 1, received a notice of violation for trailer parking on the property on June 22nd, 2023, over 2 years ago. That violation, again, was promptly remedied, and there have been no violations since. Finally, with respect to the criteria determination of need report makes much of the fact that the putative redevelopment area could be more economically productive. However, the New Jersey Supreme Court in Gallatin v. Paulsboro tells us and has held that a property being less than fully productive fails to support a redevelopment area designation. Similarly, in Malonga, the Supreme Court held that proof that a property is not used in an optimal manner or could function better does not serve the basis to make it a redevelopment area designation. You really got to have blight, which is what it sounds like, something detrimental, a bad condition. Ms. Heller's, and then with respect to Block 9402, Lot 1, which is the restaurant, the determination of need report doesn't even attempt to say that that is blighted. It just says it's necessary for the redevelopment of the other two lots, but it's not even contiguous to those lots. And as my client's planner, Mr. Ray, testified before the board, you can't just have a conclusory statement that it's needed for the redevelopment area. It has to be supported by substantial evidence. Finally, with respect to the Marsh lot, Block 9603, Lot 2, the criterion that the planning board found and that the planner urged was called criterion C of the local redevelopment housing law. And that criterion, and I'll read it, is unimproved vacant land that has remained so for a period of 10 years prior to the adoption of the redevelopment resolution, and that by reason of its location, remoteness, lack of means of access to developed sections of the municipality, or topography or nature of the soil, is likely not to be developed by private capital. However, Block 9603, Lot 2 abuts a major thoroughfare, Longport Boulevard, and is immediately adjacent to the Auburn Drive community. So it's not remote, and it does not lack access to developed portions of the community. Similarly, it's flat, so topography is not a basis for a redevelopment area designation. The determination of need report does, without any independent investigations or tests, assert that the soils of the property are acidic. However, as my client's planner, Mr. Rayenkamp, pointed out at the planning board's meeting on this matter, the soils in the entire vicinity are acidic, and that has not prevented the development of my clients from the area. Accordingly, there's no basis for finding the property cannot be developed with private capital, since private capital developed all the other properties in the area with acidic soils. Therefore, none of the properties meet the criterion to be designated as area in redevelopment, and I urge that you not. If I do not persuade you, I would like to point out there is a flaw in the resolution tonight. It authorizes, in addition to designating the property as an area in need of redevelopment, it also authorizes the planning board to prepare a redevelopment plan. However, because the property is in planning area 5, the redevelopment area designation is not effective until the DCA, the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs, the commissioner approves it. So you really can't take that action until you get DCA approval. I thank you for listening to me, and I thank you for your time. And again, I urge you not to designate the area as in need of redevelopment.
Is there anyone else who would like to address the governing body?
A new system here, huh?
We did.
Look at that. I know what's going on.
25 years in the making.
Oh, tax dollars at work.
We held off as long as we could.
Can we? Sure, Jennifer Bull-Zarnecki, 10 O'Burn Drive, one of the objectors. Members of the Township Committee, I appreciate having the opportunity to have a moment for public comment this evening. I respectfully urge you to consider the significant legal and procedural implications of approving the determination of need in the area in need of redevelopment, as it contains, the determination of need report specifically, contains a factual, critical inaccuracy. I agree with everything Kevin said, but the determination of need report asserts that the Daggett, asserts that the Daggett property, now successor Jetty Bar LLC Scarborough, has frontage along O'Burn Drive. Yet, the 2008 Superior Court judgment expressly determined that O'Burn Drive is a 40-foot dedicated public right-of-way, extending to the bulkhead where the bulkhead directly touches the lagoon. And that Mr. Daggett, now successor Jetty Bar Scarborough, held no ownership interest in any land east of that point. Approving a redevelopment designation based on information that contradicts binding court judgment could expose the township to serious challenges. Judicial review of the resolution, injunctions halting the redevelopment activities, and findings that the committee acted beyond its lawful authority. My intent is not adversarial, but protective. Both the public's rights and the township's legal standing. I would like the opportunity to read specific quotes from the Determination of Need report to demonstrate, using direct language from the 2008 judgment, how those statements are factually and legally inconsistent. Taking a moment to verify the accuracy of this record before voting will protect the township and ensure that its actions remain consistent with the established law. May I have a moment to do that?
Yes, but I'm going to tell you this, we're not a legal body to rule on this here. We're just voting on the area in need of redevelopment.
Yep.
Mr. Friedman, if you think I need to be clear on something, please let me know, because we procedurally, however this goes through, one way or the other, we want to make sure everything is done right.
Yep.
And that you have ample opportunity, which we've had some. We've been together at the planning board, so you guys have a lot of information to bring to if and when this comes to fruition in regards to a planning board application.
But you're voting on the Determination of Need report, right? And its accuracy and the legitimacy
We're just
of
voting
it.
whether we believe that this area is an area in
Based
need.
on the Determination of Need report?
Yes.
So the Determination of Need report has a critical flaw from a 2008 judgment based on property that essentially affects the O'Burn Drive residents.
Mayor, I'd allow the speaker to make her point.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
On page 4 of the Determination of Need report, it explicitly says, Block 9603, Lot 2, known as 155 Longport Boulevard, has a lot area of 242.41 acres and has frontage along Longport Summers Point Boulevard and O'Burn Drive. This site has an upland portion which is adjacent to Lot 1 in Block 9402. Lot 2 in Block 9603 is bounded by Longport Summers Point Boulevard to the north, marshland to the east, Great Egg Harbor Bay to the south, and single-family dwellings on O'Burn Drive to the west. Similarly, on page 11, it states the same statement. I'd like to go into the 2008 judgment quickly to highlight that On July 6, 1959, this is page 3 of the findings of fact, the Egg Harbor Township Committee adopted resolution number 130, which approved the subdivision of a portion of O'Byrne's property, creating 29 lots pursuant to a plan prepared by the township engineer James M. Monahan Jr., dated June 27, 1959, entitled Anchorage Point. Hereinafter, the Monahan Plan delineates a right-of-way along the eastern margin of the property adjacent to the lagoon. The physical development of the land depicted in the Monahan Plan since 1959 has been consistent with that plan. All improvements made to date and all subsequent acts by O'Byrne's successors in title and or the township have been based on the Monahan Plan, including the creation of a 30-foot wide public street within the right-of-way, known as O'Byrne Drive, shown on the unfiled plan approved via Resolution 130. Note, the bulkhead, such as existent portions remain, it is in a state of disrepair. Apparently, no one accepts responsibility for its maintenance. As used herein, the terms O'Byrne Drive and right-of-way are not coterminous. O'Byrne Drive refers to the improved portion of the right-of-way, of varying widths, approximately 30 feet, which provides vehicular access to Anchorage Point. The right-of-way refers to that portion of the Anchorage Point subdivision, to wit, a 40-foot wide strip of land separating, at the time, the 2008 plaintiffs' lands from the water. During the past 50 years, there has been contentions and dispute between the Anchorage Point owners and Egg Harbor Township. There have apparently been questions regarding maintenance of the paved portion of O'Byrne Drive, maintenance of the bulkhead separating the lagoon from the right-of-way. So there's the bulkhead, there's the lagoon, then there's the right-of-way abutting up until my home at O'Byrne Drive and all the other homes on O'Byrne Drive. A couple paragraphs down, the Egg Harbor Township tax map between 1962 and 1993 correspond to the Monahan Plan. O'Byrne Drive was shown on the tax map as a 40-foot wide right-of-way. I have just a few more notations in the judgment I think are important. Based on the court's on-site inspection, it's apparent that high tide at Anchorage Point can result in tidal waters overflowing O'Byrne Drive. Precisely where the mean high water line is situated is a question to be answered by the TRC. It's the Tidal Resource Council, for anybody who doesn't know the acronym. Common sense would appear to decree that there can be no uplands between the tidal waters and the right-of-way. Nevertheless, the court leaves final determination of that to the TRC. I haven't been able to find any documentation from the TRC indicating that other than the right-of-way, there's any other upland. Page 7 of that decision. Of particular, page, this is 12. Whether dedicated and accepted or not by the township, O'Byrne Drive exists. It is there on the ground as a public street and under New Jersey law, it's a marginal road. It has long been the law of New Jersey that a municipality has no ownership in the better streets. Traditionally, the presumption has been that the title to one half the right-of-way lies in the abutting property owner, subject to whatever public right-of-way or easement may exist. Here, the only land adjoining the right-of-way have any right of ownership in it are the plaintiffs. I was not part of the plaintiffs, but they are exactly located similarly on O'Byrne Drive as I am, on the same side of the road. Page 13. Daggett and successors, I added that part in. I'm trying to be very specific. Has no ownership interest in any portion of the right-of-way and O'Byrne Drive. Only the upland owners can apply to the TRC for a riparian grant. Despite the township's protests to the contrary, the right-of-way was dedicated and accepted by the township as a 40-foot wide marginal road. Another, page 14, the court has found that Daggett does not own O'Byrne Drive nor any portion of the right-of-way. Just make sure I got all my points here. I'll end with that. From my research, I don't believe there's been any vacation of the right-of-way. And last but not least, I would like to, I do have some photos just indicating and showing where the bulkhead meets the lagoon, and then it abuts up to our 40-foot right-of-way. I think it's very critical for this township to understand that designating this portion of O'Byrne Drive as an area in need of redevelopment would be improper, because in the determination need report, it's inaccurate that this is part of that designation because it's not owned by that person. So it's very clear within that judgment. And I also would like to point out that the bulkhead along O'Byrne Drive, I believe in the determination need report, it's a lot of printer paper here. I can't remember what page it is. I can always get you the exact page. It's at the very end. But I believe Jen Heller put a picture in saying this is the bulkhead along O'Byrne Drive, and it's a bunch of rocks. That is not the bulkhead. I believe that was Township riprap that Aramac Paving did. I have videos of the paving company, and I can always, show in the future. But essentially, this is O'Byrne Drive. This is the rest of the right-of-way, and then here you can see that's the bulkhead, and then the lagoon. So there's no other land that anybody else could own other than the residents of O'Byrne Drive within that 40-foot right-of-way. Some other pictures too that I got plenty.
Do you want me to take those?
Yeah, I think it would be helpful if you took that, and I don't know if you need the judgment.
Yeah, we have all that. We have all the records that the planning board had.
Yeah. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys make the right decision.
Is there anyone else that would like to address the governing body? Come on down. Just give us your name for the record, please.
Good evening. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak in front of you today. I appreciate your time and your consideration. So my name is Jennifer Kerwin. I live at 14 O'Byrne Drive. I'm one of the O'Byrne objectors. So I just wanted to respectfully urge you to vote no to the proposed redevelopment designation for block 904, lot 1, 9401, lot 1, lot 1, 402, lot 2, 1, sorry. Yeah, thank you. Block suggestion. Appreciate it. We all agree. Okay. We asked the township to consider the evidence provided by our council, as well as in the previous planning committee provided by our residents, and the feedback. We clearly shows that these lots do not meet the criteria for designation as an area of need, and is unsupported by substantial credible evidence, as our council mentioned, that, from living there and being there and purchasing the house in 2020, that area in Anchorage Point and the lots in question are beautiful. The 9603 lot 2, the marshland, is a beautiful, pristine area. Our neighborhood is a quiet, peaceful neighborhood where our kids play freely. Our property value continues to rise. We have new construction within our area. The area is not blighted. I would never consider it concerned or dangerous for my children. We walk around the neighborhood at night, and the buildings itself currently that are there, the structures do not meet the criteria. So we implore you, making this designation, I just want you to take into consideration that Anchorage Point neighborhood is a peaceful, well-maintained community, as I mentioned, where the kids play freely. The residents of Anchorage Point consistently fought to protect this area. As we mentioned in the 2008 court judgment, especially regarding the potential of the plans that we've seen for a marina. It will completely do the opposite. It will actually detriment our neighborhood. It will decrease the safety. We will have transient individuals very close to our property. We will have large machinery like boats very close to our property, where if there is any weather, that it could jeopardize the structures of our homes. So I implore you to please vote no to this redevelopment designation. Our neighborhood is very quiet and beautiful and peaceful and safe, and as I meant, not blighted. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Do you want, I'm going to keep the picture and give the rest of this back to you. There's like some notes for yourself in there. You might want to keep those. Okay, we'll just keep this picture, if you don't mind, with the others. Is there anyone else? Is there anyone else that would like to address the governing body? Can I make a suggestion? I'm not sure how many of you would like to speak. If you'd like to speak, why don't you come on down to the first row?
Good evening.
Sir, you're there. So can we have your name for the record and then?
My name is Craig Basil. I live at 29 Point Drive. I'm the furthest out house on the point. I've lived there since 1963. I don't know if any of you have ever been there, been around that block, but most of us know who comes and goes in our block. It's that tight-knit of a community. Now, this all started a long time ago when Mrs. O'Byrne didn't pay her taxes. She didn't pay her taxes on that property, and that bulkhead from 9403 or whatever the property number is right behind the barbecue at this point in time, all the way around to the lagoon on the Point Drive side. The township owned that on back taxes. The township owned the lagoon on Point Drive on back taxes. They wanted to get rid of it. When the people on Anchorage Point complained about the bulkhead in front of my property all the way around O'Byrne Drive, not being repaired, not being taken care of, there was nothing done. They came and dumped riprap back in probably about in the early 70s. The DEP stopped them. They stopped the Egg Harbor Township. The riprap came from Ventnor sidewalks. So that's how I know. I know what's going on there to a pretty good portion of what's going on. So that all stayed there. Nothing was ever done. Then we have Daggett. Daggett claimed that he owned from Pancini's property, which is, I apologize, I don't know the lot number on there, but I call it the casino. There's a big house on the corner that goes around. He claimed he owned all that, but he really didn't. So consequently, several of us, about 6 families, got in a lawsuit. I was named as a third-party defendant, had to defend my dock, which was the first licensed dock in Atlantic County. So I am drug into a lawsuit. So we ended up with a judgment by Judge Johnson, which has been already spoken about. And now we have a situation where Daggett and Judge Johnson actually made reference to the fact about Daggett going ahead and declaring a private lagoon, which he did. I knew that was going to happen because the gentleman from the federal government that wrote up the report, which I have, on Daggett's initial proposal, had said that to me. So there was none of us coming here and saying to the township committee, oh, well, we don't like it. It was a done deal. So he got that approved. 35 boat slips. The original boat slips were 111. He had boat slips next to my dock. He had 2 40-foot boat slips. He had dumpsters on the street. He had clean-out stations going down O'Byrne Drive. And the township sat here, the planning board, and passed it without any consideration to anybody on O'Byrne Drive or Point Drive or anywhere on that peninsula. Now we're back in the same situation. Now we have a restaurant, a so-called restaurant, which was Mrs. O'Byrne's ice cream place, turned into I believe it was something before that, some type of barbecue or whatever, but then it was a Japanese restaurant. And the Japanese lady was a nice lady.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. Mr. Daggett gave that lady a breakdown. He would bug the crap out of her every day to sell that property. I know this because 3 doors up from me, Daggett's father bought the house. And Daggett was on that lady who had the right to stay there under the lease agreement with the owner that sold it. I never knew that. I was in Tomatoes one day. She came up, oh, you're Craig Basil. Yeah. Well, I'm the lady who lived up the street. And she told me this story. So that's all here or there. The whole problem that I say to you is, as I said before the planning board the last time, is the traffic. Now you're going to put all these people into this area. Cars. Now we're already dealing with a restaurant. It's sort of there. The Back Bay Barbecue kind of handles everything. We really don't get that much problem with that situation. But now you're going to put a marina, so-called marina, with 72 or however many boat slips on O'Byrne Drive. Imagine that. You live on O'Byrne Drive, and now you have 72 boat slips on your street. Where do the people park? Oh, well, we're going to park over in the space that's allotted across from the barbecue. Well, original plans on the original thing, he was short of parking spaces. Daggett was short of parking spaces. So what did the township do? The township gave him 27 parking spaces on O'Byrne Drive. And they were going to what? Give stickers out to the people so they had their boats, they could park on O'Byrne Drive. This is the truth. You go back and look at it. That's what happened. Now you come back to the same thing. This is not Launch Drive, Launch Avenue right there. As you go over the bridge from Caroline's, right on the right-hand side, there's boat slips. And there's the same scenario that's going to be proposed for O'Byrne Drive. This is not Seaview Harbor. They have parking undercover in Seaview Harbor where they can walk. How far do they have to walk? Some of them have to walk 150 yards to get to their boat. What's going to happen here? That's what you have to ask yourself. What's going to happen here? And what kind of traffic is going to be imposed on this neighborhood?
Sir, fine. Excuse me, new mics. This is just discussing an area in need. I'm going to tell you that if and when we get to the next step, if and when, it's then we don't have a plan in front of us. We have a hypothetical that has been floated. I think you guys all have the plans that have been, I think he had to submit plans to the DEP or someone. So I know they're out there. I did not look at them intentionally because as you go through processes, you have it's a step by step. I hear what you're saying, especially about the parking. I think we all do. But we're not even remotely there yet.
It's something that I would implore you all to just take a ride out to Anchorage Point. It's a little point. It's called Anchorage Point for one reason. And because the sailing ships could not get into Summers Point, and they docked off of Anchorage Point, unloaded their stuff, and took it to Summers Point. So, that's why it's called that. But it is a unique community.
It is.
And that's what we want to keep, a unique community. I can understand wanting to do that, but it's just really not. It just doesn't cut it. It doesn't cut the mustard for the people that live on O'Byrne Drive, nor the people that live in that whole neighborhood because they're going to be inundated with cars. So thank you for your time and listening to me, and I would sincerely hope that you look at this with the
I didn't know why it was called Anchorage Point. I had no idea why it was called Anchorage Point.
You've been out there since 61, you said?
63.
63, on the point.
On the point.
Okay.
Yeah, brought the Kellys, real quick, the Kellys owned the house before us. Vander's place owned the house across the street, and that lady was meticulous.
Was it Al Sturts there?
Al Sturts lived next door to us.
Okay.
Yeah, Al Sturts was a very good friend. Him and Edna, they were very good friends of ours. Now, you look familiar, but I don't want
to tell you what picture what post office. Yeah, I'll be honest. There's a police officer in Summers Point grew up over there.
Yeah, well,
so I know Anchorage Point probably better than everybody else.
Yeah. So, I mean, and it's a community, if you went back and looked at it, there's no crime.
Remember when the road was 4 foot lower?
Yeah, I wanted to say something about that, but I apologize. I didn't get to it, and I don't know if it's. But you know what? After the storm, Peter Miller was out in front of my house, and they're cutting the road down. I said, what are you doing? We're cutting the road down 1 foot. I said, what? We're cutting the road down 1 foot. It'll make it drain faster because we're putting in these $20,000 special ends on the pipes. Like a clapper valve. I call it clapper valve, but it's really not. It's well, guess what? It floods immediately now.
How'd you make out over the weekend?
Well, you know, it had probably 4 inches of water around the house twice.
So 2 tides.
Sandy, I stayed in the house during the storm. I mean, they told me, oh, you know, we're not coming out to get you. And I said, well, look, I got 2 lifeboats out here. I'll just row away. And plus, I surf in Hawaii, so I don't give a damn. So I mean, but it was the storm. Sandy was definitely the crazy storm because the eye of the storm went over Ventnor, and we were at the bottom of the eye. And 3 hours into high tide, the wind switched to the south at about 7:20, and within 20 minutes there was 4 foot of water around the house. So that was a little scary.
That was scary.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Sir, come on up. What's your name for the record, please?
John Gresco from 12 Burn Drive. I guess just to your point a second ago, I can't speak for how everybody else feels, but I feel that, you know, this thing's moving down and it's gaining speed and it's going to be harder to impact any decisions down the road. And everybody just keeps telling us this isn't the right time. This isn't the right time. Wait. But by the time it's there, people, the investor, the person's building has already put money down and all that. Like, it's going to get harder and harder to do the right thing. I'm an IT person. Been very lucky and done well in IT. I'm not a real estate person. I'm not a lawyer. And it amazes me with the information that these great people have pulled together. It's obvious that there's a lot wrong here. So I hope you can at least promise that you will follow the rules and research it and not jam this thing through like it feels like it has been. I mean, I think I felt disrespected at the planning meeting, especially the first 2. And we had to keep pushing, had to keep coming back and stuff. So I hope you'll listen and look at it. My biggest concern is, you know, my wife and I grew up in Pennsylvania, but we had wonderful memories at the Jersey Shore, as everybody in the tri-state area probably does. As our kids got older, started college, we decided that we wanted to give our kids those same memories. So we've been in this area for 13, 14 years now. We were originally in Ocean City. Great there, beach, boardwalk, everything. We still go over and do that. Luckily, I'm blessed. My daughter has had 6 kids. So I have 6 grandkids. My son now has 1, and you know, God willing, we're going to have another one by next year. And this is where we bring the family. And what's great about it, especially with all the things you hear about and the things, is the neighborhood. We can let them go out. Right, they can. The boys can go walk around and look at crabs and do this. We're not worried about stuff. They can go out right out in front. They can grab a paddle board, a kayak, or whatever. Go out in the front. We keep an eye on them, but we're comfortable that they're safe there and that they can walk around the corner to the bulkhead and on the other road on Point Drive and get go crabbing and stuff. We can go to the beach. We can go to the boardwalk. Like, it's just perfect. They're not. And you can manage 2, but how often do we sit there and say, oh, shoot, I got to get this work done, and we hand our kid a phone to watch a video stuff, especially when they're little and stuff, right? But we don't have to do that. We don't have to do the video games. We don't have to do the TV. There's enough stuff for this to happen. I can, you know, as they said, imagine. And again, we were mailed certified the plan. So why, whatever, they're here, they're there, that's the plans. I can't remember how many docks are there. 107 on the thing. There will be 16 boats right in front where I am. Well, the kids aren't going to be able to do anything out there. They're not going to be able to play pickleball on the road. They're not going to be able to do anything. And I hope you take that into consideration. I know somebody in one of the planning meetings said, well, you know, we're not going to hurt you. Well, there's ways to hurt us, right?
obviously, we can all look at it. A marina comes in with a restaurant and stuff, property values are most likely going to go up. But it's also going to increase taxes that may hurt some of the residents, right? We don't want to do that and force them out because of that. Or myself, it just doesn't a place I can bring my kids anymore. I have to find another location or whatever. It's not going to be the same. So it's not just property values. It's the character of the neighborhood and things that many of these people expressed and why we choose to live here and why we enjoy living here. If my daughter didn't have the 6 and we didn't have to help her, she works, her husband works, so we have to be there, we'd already be full-time down here. Now we're almost there, and our goal was in the next couple of years that this would be where we are and the kids would come to us and stuff, but this is really putting a big impact into that. So, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address governing body?
Good evening. I'm Dennis Beck. I live on 24 Point Drive. Rumor has it that you guys are offering a 30-year tax abatement to Scarborough's to build this. Is that true?
Sure, we haven't, I'll be honest with you,
But that was part of the plan?
we haven't gotten an official plan yet. So the answer is no to that.
Okay. Well,
There's a lot of,
you guys just took care of the budget the 24th, and you just had, what, a $2.6 million increase you proposed on the budget? I think that was September 24th. So if you don't tax them for 30 years, every year you guys come short up on the budget. But now you have an opportunity to tax them. They are going to build it, but you're going to let it go. So who's going to pick up that shortcoming in your tax? It's going to be us.
I don't know what, I'll be honest with you. We
Wasn't
have
there
not,
supposed to be a 30-year tax abatement?
there's nothing there's nothing. We can't, there's hypotheticals, you can put them out there, but they're, well, with any commercial development, there's always opportunities for pilots, and that is true.
But what benefit does that benefit you? It's not going to bring anything to EHC. It's just going to, you're going to raise the taxes
Sir, this isn't relevant. We haven't even discussed a pilot with them. We haven't even gotten, the only way a pilot would be discussed is if this plan
what
had been
I'm saying
approved.
now, this turned into a no burn drive problem. Then it turned into an Anchorage Point problem. Then if you're going to offer tax abatements, it's going to turn into an Egg Harbor Township problem. And that means all you people that are up for election are going to have to answer that when you get to raise the budgets. So that's something you have to think about. As far as parking over there, it's going to be horrible. You're not going to be able to get a golf cart through there. It's going to be horrible to get through there. They said there was a marina there before. There was never a marina there. I've been there since 1974. There's never been a marina there. There was some clown renting a handful of kayaks, and you guys are saying that's a marina there. There was never a marina there. This thing's a bad idea. Very bad idea. Bad for our neighborhood. You're killing our neighborhood. And you're going to tax everybody out of where they lived. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Is there anyone else? Mr. McGlinchey, come on. Come on up, Mr. McGlinchey.
Two things. First, I wanted to thank the committee on behalf of the community for the breakwater along Seaview. Did a great job, Bob. It was a lot more than we expected was going to be done, and it works.
Good. I tested.
It's high enough too, so I think it would even work with Sandy, I think, except it would have went around it probably. Anyway, great job. Thank you. Any update on the CRS? Because I know that the filing deadline, I believe, was September the 1st.
From what I understand, Bob, you have that, right?
Sorry. We are working with Pat Nassione to gather some more information.
He told myself and a resident the other day that he's out of.
He is the certified skip manager for the township, so he is very involved.
I don't know
when you had the conversation. Yeah.
I don't know why he
got it. So
we're working and we're trying to get it out before the end of the year right now. To get it out there.
Is it accurate that the deadline for filing the 26th was September the 1st?
I'm not positive on that. I'd have to check.
That's what I understand. The filing deadline was September the 1st for 26.
For 26, okay.
Right.
We probably wouldn't have been able to get it all approved before the end of the year, even if we did file it. So I don't think you would have been on there for 26 no matter what.
So chances are it wasn't going to get approved. We weren't going to be getting the reduction in
Not
the
for
insurance for
26.
26.
Right.
Hopefully
27.
27.
You'll
Yeah.
have it for 27.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just
You
wanted
got
to get an update because I got some bad information from.
And we'll make
Anyway.
sure that we find out the next meeting where we stand, I can tell you.
Yeah.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else like to address governing body? Say none, can I have a motion to close the public portion? All in favor?
All right.
Bob, I have to apologize, I skipped topic. You were going to come up early, but
No, it's okay.
those kids were too good.
I did submit to everybody, we have a copy of the hot topics for the projects going on in the township. Just briefly, as the resident said, in City Harbor, that wall was completed last week. There's some concrete curbing that needs to be finished out there and some landscaping. We are going to be trying to push the contractor for the road program to start Schoolhouse Lane, Riga Avenue, and Pine Avenue, hopefully the week of teacher convention, where the schools are closed. So those roads can be like shut down, less traffic, less concerns, and the buses are trying to get through. So hopefully I'll know that by the beginning of next week on the schedule of that. And obviously there is other remaining roads. West Jersey Avenue Phase 2 from the Mall to Spruce Avenue, they're going to be starting some storm pipe on Monday. The latest could be Friday. And then probably again, we told that contractor as well that the first week of November to maybe do that as well. So maybe everybody should just go on vacation then. We'll get everything done, get back for it to be paid. Vets Park hockey rink is completed. They do have the new, or redid the boards, and I think the decking is back up. Robert Best Road, Phase 2 was completely paved. We are waiting for striping. I hope to have that in by next week. I'm sorry?
The striping would be done.
Did you see it? It was done? I wasn't out there the last 2 days, but so if that's complete, that's good. We did talk about Oval Avenue, Childs Kirk Park. That is complete, fencing and the dugouts there. We did go over budget by a little bit due to some extra painting and upgrades on the benches. That'll be one for the next agenda for final payment. Touch base with everything else. I didn't want to go through all the commercial and residential projects going on, but if you have any questions, ask me now or reach out.
Could you just give the public a quick update on Spencer Gifts?
Spencer Gifts is, I would say, 99% complete. They have some minor punch list items, but they're completely operational, and their landscaping has been installed. It looks really beautiful out there if anybody's driven by. I don't know if they're having a ribbon cutting. But yeah, that project was, has been definitely a great project.
It looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a corporate headquarters right here in Egg Harbor Township. Everybody fights for corporate headquarters. Spencer, our Halloween store, or whatever you want to call them, is here. And I think they want to make more up there.
They did a very unique design in the rear of the building, which public really shouldn't be driving right there. But if the council wants to drive back there, it's like a big amphitheater walkway. Really, a lot of money was spent back there. And just for everybody, the U-Haul building, the big white building, will be getting.
It's a lot of attention.
It will be getting retrofitted or finished out there. That it won't look like a white barn. It will be aesthetically pleasing. They will be coming back in front of the planning board to give the update with what that's going to look like as well. So it is not done. Yep.
Going to make a few people happy.
Yeah.
And I do think we need to look at changing a little bit based on the height of a building off a roadway.
I think we
do a
were
correlation.
we were going to try to get a development committee meeting to go over some new standards on that.
And I think we need that. So that would be good.
Great.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No.
Now, on Pine Avenue at 2500, does that take it to the intersection of Dogwood?
Yes, it's actually from Dogwood, 2,500 feet south or west.
To Ocean Heights.
Towards Ocean Heights.
Is that complete, that whole section?
Absolutely not. No, that's about a mile.
Because I want to get on the other end.
Yeah, so we're going to do 2,500 this year on that side. We're going to jump back over next year, do the
Yeah,
south
Ray
side
likes the
again.
potholes, but I'd like him to go, and then he don't have to worry about them.
Don't want to talk about potholes with Ray. Okay. That's
Very
it.
good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chief, would you like to give us an update on the storm? I would like you to give us an update on the storm.
Good evening. So the storm passed. That's good. Now, so we, if many don't know, that the Lieutenant Governor declared a state of emergency that took effect on this past Saturday evening. But prior to that, we had already started putting measures in place by notifying our prone flood areas, specifically the West Atlantic City section, and the motel owners. Were delivered bulletins to instruct them to find alternate arrangements for their first floor tenants, especially the 3 motels that flood, prone to flooding. Then on Sunday morning, we sent officers out to make in-person visits to again warn them to displace those first floor tenants to other to make arrangements to get them out. And so once especially the tide that we had on Monday, that we had anywhere from 3 to 4 foot of tidal water, and it impacted the 3 motels, specifically the Travel Inn, where we subsequently had to have the volunteer fire company come out and rescue them. The reason I bring this up is this is more than a decade of rinse repeat. It shouldn't be happening. The motel owners need to bear some responsibility for their tenants. Our volunteer firefighters and EMS personnel in our police department, we shouldn't be exposed. We have enough hazards to deal with in storms such as these, and this is one where time and time again we're dealing with the same hazard, and it can be prevented. So as you've seen, AccuWeather just happened to be out there, and as the emergency manager, I was out there as well, helping with the conditions and assisting patrol. And so with AccuWeather, I asked for, if I wanted to be interviewed, and I was in a little bit of frustrated moment. And so I said, sure, I'll be interviewed. But it's frustrating. It's frustrating to see, again, to deal with the same problem over and over and over again. There needs to be accountability. And I guess without experiencing it firsthand many times, the unfortunate part is the people that occupy these rooms. No person should have to live in those conditions. And what I mean by that is, no matter what their circumstance for why they're in a motel room, whether it's for short-term or long-term, I don't want to get into that. But they obviously are of limited means, probably below the poverty level. And for the motels we rescued 5 people from the room with 3-4 foot of water still in the room, basically in the room. And they're up on the bed or up on a stool, avoiding the water and waiting for it to subside. And like I said, this isn't new. This has been occurring year after year. It needs to stop. And so the people that we rescued, we were able to turn some over to family members or friends and get them out of the area. But there were a couple that had to remain back, and to listen to their story of why they had to stay back, it's just very unfortunate. And they were just waiting for the flood water to subside so they could go back into their water-soaked room. I have a lot of concerns about that, as we've talked about. Any one of us, if our houses get flooded, broken pipes, things like that, there's water damage, sheetrock, flooring, the mattresses. What do? We call the insurance company in and we repair it and we mitigate and get new mattresses and flooring and sheetrock. And I would challenge any of these motel owners for over the last 10 years, show receipts that you've done that. We're just allowing these people of limited means to reoccupy these rooms that are obviously going to have health. There's got to be health issues with those rooms. So I know I'm long-winded on this topic, but I guess I just decided to raise a little bit of awareness that we need to especially treat some of our less fortunate better. They don't deserve to be in the conditions that they are in, and their motel owners, the people that are receiving their funds, some of basically their only funds, bear that responsibility to making sure they're protected in times like this storm. So
I can tell you this: we've reached out to the county. We've talked to some of our legislators to see what the state can do, what the county can do, and the law guides what we all can do. So that's what we're trying to figure out what we can do.
And I understand that. And we did this probably about a year ago too, when we hit again, rinse, repeat. We're back here again. We did reach out to the county, and that's the frustrating part. Everyone's pointing fingers. Board of Health, that's not my problem. That's the state. State, well, you have to talk to your municipality. The municipality, that's the Board of Health. And
we can put them all in the same room. We all get in the same room. Maybe we can come up with something.
And I'm sure this problem isn't solely just Egg Harbor Township. I know that it's happening in a lot of these similar areas and similar towns. And I know Absecon's dealing with it. They have other counties displacing some of their people to their motel rooms, which I know we have the same problem as well, but not as extreme as Absecon's experiencing. So,
can I change the subject on you a little bit?
Sure.
What did you think of what the young children or the young adults said tonight?
I think it was fantastic, and Kim didn't fail to mention that we kind of have a partnership with them. We do partnership with Atlantic Prevention Resources for their mental health, their alcohol abuse and substance abuse stuff, and so we have engaged with them, and our detective bureau has actually gone out on some of the leads when we've found some merchants in town selling THC type products. Now, that's one of the things I was going to mention. We can connect with Kim if she can give us the merchants that are selling the illegal products, and if we can cite them, we will.
She's got a list.
So if we could cite them, I don't think we don't have a township ordinance yet on vapes.
I don't believe we do either, but certainly if there's illegal activity that they're selling illegal merchandise and something can be done about it, I would suggest that we contact her to provide us with a list of all the businesses she did their assessment, and then perhaps just generate a letter to all of them saying, this is what the law is, and we intend upon doing periodic checks. We expect that you're going to be complying with the law. Otherwise, there's fines to be faced.
I'll talk to her and reconnect her with Sergeant Fair, Detective Sergeant Fair, because again, we have done some programming and enforcement efforts on other projects with her.
That's good. That's good to know.
Chief, I know you had 3 long days. We thank you for your service.
My pleasure. That's what I'm here for.
You're out directing traffic.
I was doing a lot of things, but on that same note, I have to give all credit to our volunteer fire companies, and I made sure to give them kudos to the media. Again, without them, we'd be in a world of trouble out there, because then the police department would be taking up those roles, and we're certainly not trained in high water rescue. And I know that some people look at some of the videos and think, what's the big deal? It's 3 foot of water, it's 4 foot of water. Well, there's electrical issues and hazards that you have to deal with, and there's also when the storm or the storm waters or tidal waters rise, if there's sewer grates or that get displaced, and you can fall right in. And so, just hats off to our volunteer firefighters. And I also have to give a shout out in West Atlantic City, the State Department of Transportation. For the last few years, we've been using them. Anytime we have these issues out there, they do come out, and that also takes a lot of pressure off our police department, so we can use our resources elsewhere. So,
thank you.
I think the Gargan town that they had the 5-ton Army truck retrofitted is a high water rescue. You know,
yes,
we just wreck cars by going out there in that kind of water and normal vehicles.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for all you did. And thank your men and women for all that they've done. All righty. Now, I am going to say here, just to the people from Anchorage Point, that the resolution was in our consent calendar and it passed already. So it has already passed. So, yeah, we only speak with ordinances, resolutions, we do not. But I'm going to tell you this, that there are multiple steps before this even starts a planning board hearing. And we will let you know whenever it'll be. You can call us, you can check our website. At the next step, you will know. So, all right, Township Committee reports. You're one of the owners? Come on down, sir. You give your name for the record and which property.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Ravi, and my last name is Patel. Thank you for having me here. I just want to mention to Chief of Police that when you guys came out and hand out the flyers, I personally gave each and every tenant and told them if they want to move out, please try to find accommodation so we can not have that kind of problem each time that the flood comes in. We even offer them to refund their money for whatever the weeks that they have paid, so they can use their money to use their different location and all that stuff. So after the Sandy, what we have done is we did a 3 feet of wall where it's all cement board and all that stuff. So there is no drywall or anything like that. So every year we do a cleaning of the grouts and all that stuff to make sure all that stuff is clear. All our electrical outlets and all that stuff is 5 foot above the ground. It's not on the ground like what other places where they will have it and all that stuff. So I'm just trying to say, if a person refuses and say that I'm not going to check out or anything, what should we do in that situation? Because I can't force somebody to drag them out of the room saying, hey, you need to go. Even after showing the police letter that they dropped us off for us, they refuse it. We had 10 tenants there. Out of those 10 tenants, 5 tenants already moved out. There were 5 tenants that decided to ride the storm. And I was there personally on Sunday morning myself over there as well before the cars start coming in. I told them, every single guest as well, saying that you need to move out. It might be bad. It might not be bad. I do not know this situation because they're saying it could be a 2 feet of water or 3 feet of water and all that stuff. So how do we address this?
Sir, I don't know the answer right now. I don't know what the legal, I honestly don't know what the legal ramification is, and that's why I don't want to say anything, because I don't know. But it's something that we will have a discussion about, and we'll be in touch with the owners, and we'll let you know what your responsibilities are. There's certain, as a hotel owner, you have certain legal responsibilities. Tenants also, guests, I should say, also have responsibilities. So.
Travel in. Mm-hmm. That's fine with me. I don't have an issue with it.
With all due respect, you have.
Mm-hmm.
We have to address Your town.
But I tried to find them a different location where the sea breeze has a second level, but they had their guests moved up there, so I don't have any other place to put them because this is a major storm. So that's why we always offer up front when they come, when something like this happens before it happens, we give them the refund so they can use that money to go find somewhere else that. It's not like we're denying them that we're taking the money and not doing anything. Whatever the amount that they pay, like for example, if they pay it for 7 days, for a week, we divide that, and the rest of the money we give it back to them. We don't keep that.
I tell you what, sir, I think, why don't we
One
let our
more
people
comment.
discuss what they, and if you can give us your contact information.
Sure.
That you can be reached on.
Yes, because see, my uncle usually the one who handles everything, but he had an emergency and I had to go out of country. That's why I'm dealing with this. Usually, I'm not in the front. I'm always in the background of it to help him out and all that stuff. But because he's not here, that's why I'm coming over here and mentioning it. And I have spoke to police and all that stuff. I have made a call on Friday to your office, but it was. I made it twice, one on Friday and one on Saturday, but I did not leave a message. That's my mistake, but I did try to call you twice to let them know that's what should I do if some of the tenants were not leaving. But it's my mistake where I didn't left a voice message for you. I was trying to inform you and all that stuff as well. You can see my number if you have a caller ID. You can check it and see it. Twice I have called your office.
Why don't you do this? Why don't you step and talk to the chief on the side? I think that might be better. We don't want you to put your number out.
No, that's fine. One more thing I wanted to ask you is that in 2012, when the Sandy came in, afterwards, city tried to buy off some of the motels and all that stuff. And second round happened on 2020. We were ready to give that because I'm tired of dealing with this flooding and all that stuff. And I'm still trying to give that out right now. We have a property on sale by a realtor. It's on the market already, all that stuff. But it's just that there is no buyers coming in or anything like that. And if city see or find some kind of funding again to buy some of it, I'm the first one to give it to you again.
Well, that's good to know. So as we look for funding, and that's what we're trying to do, we absolutely will need your number. So make sure we have it.
Okay.
Okay.
No problem.
And you can talk to the chief.
Sure.
Because I think that's probably a better one-on-one conversation.
Okay. No. I'm open for it. If you want to step out and we'll talk, or if you want to do it afterwards, that's fine with me too.
Was that your son or that got off the school bus?
No, that's the manager's apartment, son.
I just wanted to point out.
No, and I agree with that.
That they wanted to bring that child.
No, and I agree with that, and that's their responsibility and all that stuff. Even I told the manager, you cannot send your child to school. Let them know that it's flooding because don't send it. If you want to stay upstairs, or you can, we can come to my house for him. I can allow it, but the regular guests, I can't do that. So, okay, thank you very much.
Okay, Township Committee reports. Mr. Rosenberg.
Mayor, it's that time of year. If your house is anything like mine, I have a 3-year-old at home who is hoarding candy, redecorating with witches and pumpkins all over the place, and a grandmother who is all too eager to give it to her. So
that's what we're for.
So I figured I'd give my report this week to anybody who's listening at home. Egg Harbor Township's official trick or treat is, of course, on the 31st, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's something that always goes around my neighborhood. What time, when, and where, that type of thing. So we also have the Recreation Department is doing their trunk or treat on October 28th, 5 p.m. through 7 p.m. That's a Tuesday. At the community center, it's $5 for residents. That's all kinds of fun games and different things being programmed over there by those wonderful folks. Egg Harbor Township High School. The only information I found was check the school's social media for final dates, times, and details. So there is an event. I would encourage you all to go to the high school's Instagram and Facebook and take a look. Also, one of our great corporate partners here in Egg Harbor Township, Storybook Land, is doing their trick or treat every weekend in October. So take the kids over there, dress them up, have a good time. Do it safely. Thank you, Mayor.
Can't do better than Storybook Land.
That's right.
Absolutely. Well,
I did go out to the point there 4 times so far. Looked at that project many times. Bulkhead is in desperate need. Say that lightly. You also asked me to look at Spruce Avenue's bridge. County has notified us that they're going to replace that bridge. And there's 3 different options. We talked about it today and yesterday. Hopefully we can stop what happened on Robert Best Road with everybody detouring down. So we got some ideas on that. We'll see how that goes. Also sat on redevelopment. Vince got some funding, Senator Palestini, for Black Horse Pike. They're looking at relocating a couple of lights in front of Shore Mall. That was a very interesting meeting. The whole redevelopment, I was with building trades for years. Coming down the Black Horse Pike with Spencer Gifts and the shopping center on fire and Black Horse Pike, Walmart, that whole area has now come to life again. If you looked at the electric company being shut down years ago, that was in desperate need of redevelopment.
and that is what redevelopment is.
Township's doing a nice job with redevelopment coming down to Black Horse Pike. And that's about it.
Very good, thank you. Mr. Hotz.
Will, as you touched Spruce Avenue, I hope the county will remember what they did en route to Hamilton by the alternating light instead of shutting that bridge off entirely and really hurting our residents in Egg Harbor Township when they just decided to close the road, because it's still working, alternating traffic. It was out there Sunday in the rain going to Hamilton and stopping traffic. Yes. People getting through. Just as Paul spoke about with Halloween, our great Snowball Fire Department's been doing their morning hayride on the weekends. As you get down Zion Road, you'll see the flashing county put the information boards up that pedestrians and heavy traffic. And hopefully they get some good weather and don't get rained out like you did in the past couple of days. The other thing, I was fortunate enough to go to Zion United Methodist Church. Our historical society did a presentation about past residents of Egg Harbor Township going way back to the Civil War era and so forth. And it's really, I'm not a guy that wants to look at cemeteries, but it is really interesting to find the names that are still here that are buried out there at Zion Methodist Church. And what I found out the other day is those churches, Zion, members from Zion broke off and went out to Asbury. So between the 2 churches, they're the oldest probably in our township right now, between Zion and Asbury Methodist on Asbury Road. So
Grade is out there?
I don't want to guess. It's old. It's the side next to the church. It goes off across the street, and it's not a secret. Lucky Johnson's over there. If you were a Bulwark Empire person, but it's the side next to the church, and some of those tombstones are quite old. But their names are still around us, the Old Skull, Steelman, and so forth, Frambies. There's a relation on my side with Frambies, but they're all there. So to our historical society, I think they championed it. They had other people from the area that are into this, from Port Republic and the other areas of Atlantic County. But it was really quite interesting, and they had their different stations and told the story about the person, and they were dressed up in colonial garb.
That's amazing.
And the other thing is, to our fire department, I listened to them, West Atlantic City with the flooding, and I've been there for that. It's not good. And we got to, I don't know what the state will do with that stretch of roadway. I don't even want to think about it, but they got to be able to handle that water better than they do. And those people they have to live there. It's not good. And to our fire department, at least one thing with my military experience, that 5-ton that they use for high water rescue, it's exactly what the thing's made for. And they keep it up. And the county has some of them, but half the time they won't start. But they have one retrofitted, and I know they were using that along with the Humvees or whatever else the police department has. But, our fire department and police department, they all step forward to help those people. And the one with stuck in the room with a couple pets, that's another problem. The dog's going to drown too, so you got to get them out. That's all I got. I think I missed something, but I just hope the county doesn't cut our road off completely on Spruce, like they were helpful for the 365 days on Mays Landing Road.
It's not terrible. No, I'm just always happy and excited when I see our youth, when I see our future get involved and stand. And those kids really, the young people did a great job, and we must follow up to help them continue to do their job and support our youth and our future in every way.
They did an outstanding job. They really did. For me, just a couple of things, just like it's been said this evening, our first responders were outstanding during the storm. We had Margate Bridge Road, Seaview Harbor, Anchorage Point, Margate Bridge Road, West Atlantic City, all flooding. They were everywhere, wherever they needed to be, they were there. And we just appreciate all that they do. And I know, Paul, you always call it the fire department, but they are volunteer. And we have to say this every day because they are volunteer men and women who give of their time and their energy for this township for absolutely nothing, just except for the public service that they do and the pride in their work. So to all of them, thank you very much. We got through this storm. Hopefully this is it for this year.
Just one other thing. If you've been here as long as I have and seen a lot of areas that never flooded are flooding. And I point out the Blackman and Ocean Heights. We had to shut it down at Steelman. I don't ever remember that flooding there. The bridge is certainly higher. And in Summers Point, there's sections of Bay Avenue never flooded. They were flooded. One of them is in front of the hospital. It was flooded well the other night. And we all watched the TV, and Absecon has a real problem. They got you can't get down Route 9 and you can't get down Shore Road. So Holy Spirit's flooded, and by the railroad bridge is deeper than Holy Spirit. So, I don't know. I had an old timer tell me that the island's sinking. Well, I don't think it'll be around when it completely goes under, but maybe it is getting lower. I don't know.
Two other things I'd like to say. One is for our residents that are decorating for Halloween. I have to say we are a very festive town, and there are people that enjoy the spirit of the holiday, and there's some scary houses out there. So, and the kids love it. It's like I'm hearing from everybody that their kids have to drive by them every day. So I think it's great. I want to thank the people that do that because they add the color to this town, which I think is awesome. And the last thing is that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And if you know anyone who can't afford a mammogram or to get those kind of tests done, Atlantic Medical Imaging, Shore Memorial Hospital, or Shore Medical Center, and Atlantic Care all have programs for people who can't afford to get that type of procedure done. And it's something that I know you're going to hit November for men, but for women too, you can't put off these exams. They're not the funnest thing in the world, but you know what? It's something you do. So if you know someone who's putting it off for money, you can reach out to our office. We can give you the resources, but there's plenty of resources out there. And this month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And when you see the pink, think about it. And if your wife or your daughter hasn't had it done, your mom, just tell them to go get it done. And then, it's done. And you don't have to think about it. So other than that, that's all I have. Tom, do you have anything?
Nothing, ma'am. Thank you.
Mark?
If the ordinance that they mentioned about the vapes is forwarded to you, or we could reach out to make sure we get them, certainly take a look at that and see if that's something that we could add to our list of ordinances.
Good idea. I think it's a good idea.
Mayor, real quick, for the young people and whoever, Home Depot is offering training classes to get certified in different forms of constructions and permits and stuff like that. If folks are interested, they can look on the Home Depot website.
I didn't know that. That's great. Mark, do we have need for a closed session tonight?
We have one matter to discuss under a contract.
Okay.
Yes. Resolution 501, authorizing the Township Committee to convene in a closed executive session to discuss matters which may involve personnel and/or legal matters. Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas the public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and where the governing body wishes to discuss matters which involve personnel and/or legal matters as follows. One legal matter, an update on the Cygnus lease with an anticipated disclosure of 1 year. Whereas minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires that confidentiality, then the minutes could be made public. Now therefore be it resolved by Township Committee, Township of Egg Harbor, County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey, that the public be excluded from this meeting.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to go into closed session? Roll call?
Ellis? Hudson?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Rothenberg?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.